Hi, my name is Gina Ligon.
And I'm Pete Seamy.
And we're here today to talk about branding destruction.
So I studied the white power movement, which is really, it's an international movement that draws inspiration from Nazi Germany, the Southern Confederacy in the United States, and really a broad set of other beliefs and influence, most of which relate to kind of the central idea that the white race, while superior, is on the verge of extinction due to a number of different forces that are kind of coalesced to bring about a genocide of the white race. And so in order to combat that, the movement of white power adherents claimed that whites need to unify and come together and develop a sense of consciousness that could combat these forces. The music scene, the white power music scene, is really part of this larger movement. And when we talk about the white power music scene, we're really talking about a number of different musical genres. Most notable is a kind of heavy metal or a punk style of hard rock style of music. But there's also country and folk styles of white power music. National Socialist black metal is another genre that's especially popular in Europe. And when you look at the white power music in terms of the lyrics that are associated, you're really looking at a wide range of different kinds of lyrics. Some of the lyrics are very explicit in advocating different types of violence directed at what they call racial enemies. And other musical lyrics are much more kind of generic and innocuous, based on themes of brotherhood and loyalty. And you wouldn't necessarily realize that if you were listening to a song like that, you wouldn't necessarily realize you were listening to a white power song. And the same thing can be said for the band names. Some of the band names are very explicit, and others are much harder to identify as white power. When we talk about the white power music scene in terms of the functions, what it provides the larger movement, I mean, you're really talking about a number of different key kind of aspects. First is that it generates funds and revenue that are important for organizations to kind of keep themselves going. We'll talk a little bit more about the revenue in the next slide. It's also an important recruiting mechanism, a way to attract especially younger folks to different types of musical events that are hosted as part of the white power music scene, a way to bring new people into the fold. The white power music scene is all about different kinds of occasions where people come together to interact with each other. And in terms of bringing in younger, newer folks, it's an opportunity to kind of socialize them into the larger movement, teach them about the cause, teach them key beliefs, and so forth. And then it's also important for sustaining membership or involvement among veteran folks. Again, the music scene provides these social occasions, and these are important occasions for folks that have been involved in terms of keeping themselves going and kind of providing them with opportunities to get together with like-minded others, talk about strategy, talk about the cause. So multiple different levels in terms of different functions that it provides. One of the most salient characteristics of the white power music scene is that it's global. It's organized across the globe. In the United States, you have anywhere between 150 and 200 music bands playing at any one time. You also find thriving music scenes in Germany. But you also find them in various other European countries as well. Greece, Italy, France, all have white power music scenes. Historically, given that England is the birthplace of skinheads, including racist skinheads, England has played an important historical role in terms of the music scene. And then you find white power music scenes in countries Brazil, Argentina, Canada. So it really is global, and it's largely organized through the internet. And the internet has really fueled this kind of globalization of the white power music scene in that it provides easy access to be able to purchase the music, and download the music, but also to find out about music events and the locations and the venues and where they'll take place. Organizers use the internet to promote the shows and also to organize the logistics and so forth. and the internet provides a whole host of different opportunities for socializing with people. You know, people can come together and socialize with each other, creating social networking sites that mimic Facebook and MySpace and so forth, and music being a prominent kind of feature or playing a prominent role within a lot of these different spaces. So we talk about the music and its relationship to the movement and the extent to which music can be branded to the movement. A number of key organizational issues are important to recognize here. A lot of the music organizations are essentially owned by larger movement organizations. Now, the most notable of this occurred when Resistance Records was purchased by the National Alliance. And then shortly after, Nordland Records, a European music label, was also purchased by the National Alliance. That type of relationship between music companies and larger movement organizations is pretty typical. And so there you have an opportunity for movement organizations to reap the benefits, the financial benefits, among other things, in terms of having a strong relationship or owning music companies. In other cases, though, the music companies may be smaller, more independent labels, but they still may and typically do have relationships with various movement organizations that provide opportunities for promoting the cause. In some cases, movement organizations will develop specific music-related events or festivals that become kind of signature events for the organization. So the international skinhead group, the Hammer Skin Nation, developed the Hammerfest, which became their kind of signature music event. And that provided an opportunity for them to kind of use music as an opportunity for, again, recruitment, but also for generating revenue. And when we talk about the generation of revenue, we're not talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry here, but there are companies that have had a relatively substantial, financial success. So when Resistance Records was at its height in the late 90s and into the early and mid 2000s, they were generating in excess of $1 million in revenue annually. So there is a potential for a substantial infusion of funds in Europe. The white power music scene generates even more funds and has larger numbers in terms of attendance at music shows. You find a full range in terms of the music shows and how many folks attend those. In the U.S., the music shows tend to be a little bit smaller, in the hundreds, whereas in Europe, music shows oftentimes are in the thousands. And so the amount of revenue that's generated through the music shows is going to obviously vary substantially depending on the location and the size of the audience. When you look at how the music events get linked specifically to the movement, in slide 8, you'll see this banner, which is a flyer for a Hammerfest event, which has photos of two individuals that are considered to be martyrs in the larger movement, who were killed by what they call racial enemies. And so they use these kinds of incidents to help, again, bolster their claim about the victimization of whites and the need for white unity and so forth. And so that becomes a central kind of theme within the larger kind of music scene and how it gets connected to the larger movement. But it's not just about music. So there's also a whole host of different types of merchandise that get connected to the music scene and are promoted as part of this larger music scene, and that reflect then themes and ideological aspects of the larger movement as well. Everything from T-shirts and hats to coffee mugs to belt buckles can be purchased online along with the music. So you have a whole host of these different kind of aspects, accessories that people can use to kind of identify themselves, and that comes in a variety of forms to a much more explicit identification, like a coffee mug with an image of Hitler, or a T-shirt with an image of Hitler saying that don't blame me, I voted for Hitler. to much more coded types of merchandise. So, for instance, 88, which stands for Heil Hitler. You can purchase, T-shirts, sweatshirts, and hats with 88 on it, and people won't, non-adherents won't necessarily understand what that means, but you will, and others who are in the know will as well. And this can help folks that are involved in this generate a whole lifestyle based around kind of the cause, based around the ideals of the movement. And we know that the more individuals identify with and use a merchandise to identify with aspects of their life, the more likely they are to be loyal to different brands, and in this case, loyal to a particular cause that the movement stands for. So, in concluding, some of the major points that we've discussed today are that violent ideological groups market themselves much like nonviolent, non-ideological groups, and that there's a lot of similarities that cut across. And that this results in increased notoriety and reputation, which can then translate into more effective recruiting and fundraising. And that music scenes in particular provide multiple sources of social support that's important, not only in terms of the music scene, but in terms of the music scene then helping the larger movement and the larger cause persist. And these social supports are an important aspect of that, the extent to which the larger movement is able